All right, good morning, everybody. So it's Jay again, and we're going to talk about having successful fruit trees in Phoenix, Arizona. So we're going to talk a little bit about this peach. We're going to start with this because this is a stone fruit, and this is a very common tree that people want to plant here in the Phoenix Valley area. And some people really struggle with this tree, and some people really have it a breeze with this tree. And there's just several successful tips that I can give you on growing these trees, and it really kind of applies to growing all fruit trees in Phoenix. You want to set them up in a certain way that they'll be very successful for you as far as growing, as far as leafing out, and then as far as fruiting and blooming and setting fruit. So I wanted to talk about this one because this is the one that I did a video not too long ago about when it was in full bloom, and that was right before the frost. We got the last third frost there in late February, and this was the time period which more or less everybody told me I was going to lose all the flowers and the fruit on this tree, which I wasn't really worried about because it comes down to picking the right fruit tree. And in this case, this is a Florida Prince, and I've had this tree in the back. I've got a really big one in the back that I've had for the last 7 or 8 years, and it's been successful every year, and it's been basically the only one that was successful every single year, meaning no matter what happened as far as the cold, the heat, I got fruit off of that tree consistently every year. So I decided to put another one out front here. I've got this one in the front of my house, front of my driveway, and what we ended up doing was cutting a hole in the concrete here so that we could put this tree in. So let me show you some of the things that we've done to this tree in order to get it to look this good. I mean, this thing is just gorgeous. It's almost fully leafed out, and I'm going to show you the fruit and talk about the fruit here in just a moment, but let's go over the tree real quick. So you can see that it's got a nice central trunk, and I've got a low canopy on the tree. The canopy starts about maybe 3 feet up, and even with that, you see that I have wrapped the trunk on this tree. So the trunk of the tree is in the shade or wrapped at all times. There's never any sun really striking on this point here. The leaves are so low that it keeps the shadow line on this. Plus I've got these corrugated bumpers out here in which I'm keeping the tree in so that I don't flatten it when I drive in here with my car. So as we look down in here, we've got a nice area. I think these are about 3 feet across. And then if you look down in here, you can see the root flare. See the root flare of the tree. And then I've got irrigation in here also. This is a shrub sprinkler, so it sprays this entire area in here, and it keeps it all moist and keeps the earthworms and the mushrooms happy down in here in the nice compost that I've planted these in. So I plant these in my compost. It's a 50-50 mix of my compost and the native soil. And let's talk about the fruit and the fruit set on this tree. So this tree is amazing in the fact that it has 100% germination, meaning every single one of these, every single flower that flowered has become a fruit. So let me see if I can show you these kind of going down the branches. So you can see how many are on here, and you can see that every one of these is set. So just on this one little branch, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm telling you, there is so many fruit on this thing. If we look over the entire tree, every single branch is like that. So you see that every one of these has set. Every single one of these has set. Every one of these. Every single peach on this entire tree has set fruit. 100%. See, every single one of these is a little peach, and in fact, some of them are getting a little size to them now. So there are flowers and flowers and flowers on this tree. I can't tell you how many there are. There must be about 500 would be my guess. There's going to be about 500 peaches on this tree, but I just literally, if you go from branch to branch to branch, and there's a ton of branches on this because you can see it. So every one of these has fruit. It is ridiculous. I have never gotten this before. So let's talk about the pollination then. How did I get the pollination on every single flower? So I have a beehive now. I have a beehive in the backyard, and those guys worked pretty much all winter long and pollinated this stuff even though it was cold outside. And I didn't get any of these flowers zonked. These are literally, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is ridiculous. Every single branch. So I'm guessing 500 is my guess on this tree, because my big one in the back will consistently put on about 2,500 to 3,000 peaches per year, and I do get the majority of those because the birds can only eat so much. So that's the second question I'm going to get is, are you going to thin the fruit? And absolutely no, I am not going to thin the fruit, because I know that other things will thin the fruit for me. You've got insects that'll eat them, you've got birds that'll eat them or knock them off, you've got ground squirrels, you've got the tree will naturally shed on its own. So if you wait till about, I guess, say mid-May, they'll start to shed a lot of these peaches on their own. They'll drop a lot of the smaller peaches and they'll keep a lot of the bigger peaches. So I'm gonna say I'm probably gonna end up with about 400 of the 500 fruit that this tree will produce. I will get. I expect them to be a fairly decent size. They are going to be a little bit smaller if I let this many set, because this is a lot. But you'd want to thin these before about 45 days, because that's when the stone starts to set inside, and then thinning out the tree really doesn't matter at that point. It doesn't help out the peaches that are there. But this is absolutely ridiculous. So yes, it bloomed like it was supposed to. No, it didn't freeze like it was supposed to. I got all the fruit. Yes, I'm going to leave a lot of the fruit on it and see what happens on this smaller tree, because I know my big tree will hang some very large fruit. So this is the situation that it would be wonderful if you could plant every tree in, and that is the base of the tree. The bottom of the tree is in the shade with the upper canopy growing up and reaching into the light. All right, guys, so that's peach trees in particular this time, because this is the one that's full of fruit. And then next time, we'll do a video on the actual fruit set that it gets. But idealistically, this is how you plant trees in Arizona. You plant them roughly at grade with the root flare exposed if you can see it. Nice irrigation, wrapping the trunk, leaving the canopy low. Making sure it has good water at this time of the year. It's rained a lot, so a lot of people aren't going to water for a long time, but I'm going straight back into watering, even though they just got a really good drink. So now we're going to see if we can get this tree will probably double in size this year as far as its growth goes. And then I'm going to see how many peaches that this guy can produce. This trunk is about yay big now. All right, guys, Florida Prince peach and growing fruit trees in Arizona. Thank you guys for watching.